Those who have these three features on their face will surely be protected by the Buddha in their later years. Their life will be happy and peaceful, with family and blessings will be abundant. The Buddha taught that appearance is born of the mind, and circumstances follow karma. This means that everything we see on someone's face is not only the form given by their parents, but a countenance nurtured over the years by each thought, each word, and each deed we sow. A person with a kind heart and wholesome intentions will naturally have eyes that shine with warmth, a gentle smile, and a face that becomes bright and approachable. This is not beauty by worldly standards, but a quality that makes others want to trust, lean on, and stay close for a long time. In Buddhism, it is often said that a person with merit is not necessarily dazzlingly beautiful, but will surely radiate an affable, endearing charm. That quality cannot be painted on or covered with cosmetics. It can only emanate from a heart that has learned to be forgiving, patient, and harmless to others. We look at features to understand the mind and to reflect on ourselves, not to judge status or compete. Today's features can change if tomorrow's conduct is refined and properly nurtured. Some people struggle in their youth, but as they grow and live more virtuously, their face becomes gentle and serene, like a blossom opening after the rain. This is the look of merit and goodness, often mentioned in Buddhist texts, as the sign of someone who has sown many good roots in the past and continues to cultivate blessings in the present. Those who possess these three features will sooner or later be supported by the Buddha, favored by heaven, and guided by life towards safe harbors of ease with a peaceful family. The first feature commonly found in those with merit and a blessed later life is the eyes. The eyes are not only for seeing, they also illuminate the inner life. There are people who, without saying a word, reveal an expanse of gentleness the moment you look into their eyes. There are others whose speech is smooth and manner pleasant, yet their eyes reveal calculation and rivalry, causing those before them to instinctively become cautious. In Buddhism, the eyes are not merely a biological organ, but the gateway of the mind. As the mind is, so are the eyes. One who keeps a kind heart free of envy and anger will naturally carry warmth in the gaze. This warmth does not come from bodily heat, but from compassion arising in the heart. People with kind eyes usually live decently, think of others, do not anger easily, and do not let worldly matters agitate their hearts. When they look at others, their gaze is light. When they look at life, it is understanding. And when they look back at themselves, it is forgiving. There is no nitpicking, no prying or idle curiosity, only a stillness like the surface of an unruffled lake. Through such eyes, others can feel peace, trust, and a lifetime of quiet cultivation without boasting or display. Those who possess such a gaze do not seek glitter or scramble for advantage. They choose a life that is quiet, kind, and simple. This simplicity becomes the foundation for being favored by heaven, blessed by the Buddha, and followed by enduring merit that arrives quietly yet firmly. Some people wonder why they live virtuously yet have not seen blessings return. Sometimes the answer can be found by looking into one's own eyes each day. When the mind is not yet still, the eyes still flicker. When the heart is not yet calm, the gaze is still hurried. Only when we learn to live slowly and deeply, to love with a heart at rest, will the eyes know how to see with wisdom and not merely with sight. Only then does life begin to transform, karma begin to settle, and blessings find a place to blossom from one's own gaze. The second feature found in those with merit, protected by the Buddha and secure in later years, is the smile. A smile is the mark of a heart that has passed through much suffering, yet still chooses to be gentle with the world. Not everyone can keep a smile in the face of ups and downs, and fewer still can smile at what goes against their wishes. Only those who understand impermanence, have loosened their grasping, and learned to be content with the present, can smile sincerely and simply without force. Such a smile is not overly radiant or loud. It is quiet, like a blossom opening on a plain after the rain, like soft morning light. It is the smile of someone who is grateful to life, who loves others, and who keeps their heart from becoming a storehouse of anger. Even without many words, a person with such a smile warms those around them. In Buddhism, even a gentle smile can be a way of bestowing blessings. it spreads compassion and shows a mind no longer swept away by storms of gossip and rivalry. Some people were once frowning and harsh in their youth, but after a long journey of awakening, learning patience and kindness, their smile gradually grows, becoming calm, deep, and gentle. There are also those born with a soft smile, but if the heart is not wholesome and the words are not kind, that smile is only a mask covering inner calculation. Therefore, a smile is visible, but its root lies in the heart. A person with a pure mind, free of scrambling and envy, will naturally have a smile like a light breeze or a cool stream that soothes others. Such people often live long, stay healthy, and carry fewer worries because their heart is light and unburdened. They do not need to curry favor because they are lovable by nature. They do not need to put on a pious air because every word they speak is already a blessing. They do not need to beg life for anything because life has long been returning good things to them. Blessings come from a sincere smile because it shows that person has enough love, understanding, and strength to pass through pain without letting the heart harden. Such a person will surely be protected by the Buddha, for their heart has become a refuge for themselves and for those around them. The third feature, commonly found in those whose later years are at ease and who are favored by heaven and blessed by the Buddha, is a gentle forehead. In physiognomy, the forehead is the seat of wisdom. It reflects inner clarity and symbolizes the serenity of one's life. In the Buddhist view, the forehead is not merely outward form. It is the bright field of wholesome karma, the place where light appears when one lives with reason, understands right and wrong, and quietly does good without seeking repayment. A forehead that is not wrinkled or scowling is usually the sign of a soul that has learned to let go and not to hold sorrows forever in the heart. Those with a broad and bright forehead are typically honest people who value trust and do not act underhandedly behind others' backs. They dare to face their mistakes, dare to accept loss, and do not let anger govern their actions. Such a forehead is not a gift bestowed by heaven. It is the result of a character cultivated over many years of decent living patience and a refusal to contend with the world. There are people who used to be hot-tempered, impulsive, and prone to anger, so their foreheads were always furrowed, as if carrying a whole sky of worries. But after a period of practice learning how to keep the mind still amid 1,000 noises, their brow gradually relaxes, becomes brighter, easier on the eyes, and more peaceful. Those with a gentle forehead are usually easy to live with, easy to talk to, and easily win others' goodwill. They do not try to overpower anyone, nor do they let themselves be swept into unnecessary disputes. They simply maintain a simple way of life, a generous outlook, and a heart that always wishes others peace. For this reason, they accumulate merit through humility, cultivate virtue through patience, and live a life that may not always be materially abundant, yet is always rich in love and inner calm. On such a face, the forehead is not merely a place that stores the wrinkles of time. It is the bright field of wisdom, the open channel through which blessings flow. It is precisely there that heaven can see a person whose goodness is sufficient to be sheltered, whose kindness is sufficient to be guided, and whose steadiness is sufficient to resist being dragged about by the waves of worldly karma. Those who have such a forehead carry wholesome energy wherever they go. Whoever they meet, they leave a trace of serenity. However turbulent life may be, they ultimately set foot on a shore where there are no more storms and the heart knows no more tempests. These three features may seem like mere outward forms, but in truth they are the fruit of a long journey of inner cultivation, of a life of goodness that does not demand recognition of years of quiet forbearance without complaint, of each time one chose forgiveness over retaliation, patience over anger and restraint, before uttering a word that might wound someone. Kind eyes are the result of an inner life that has learned to view the world with wisdom rather than prejudice. A gentle smile is the expression of a soul that has learned to let go so as not to carry suffering into tomorrow. And a broad, unknotted, unhurried forehead is the sign of one who no longer lives in haste, resentment, and rivalry. These three things cannot be faked, cannot be painted on, cannot be learned in a day or two. They must be slowly forged, watered each day by wholesome deeds, mindfulness, and genuine love. Some are born with these features but fail to preserve them, and over the years their merit wanes and their features fade. Others were once stubborn, coarse, and living in ignorance, but after awakening and returning to the right path, their merit gradually blossoms and their karma settles. Their face transforms from heavy to peaceful, from tense to gentle. Therefore, not everyone who has these three features will keep them to the end of life, and not everyone who lacks them today will be unable to have them. Each person can transform their features. Each person can walk the path back to a face of blessing and a gaze of compassion. It only takes living a little more slowly, observing one's mind, a little more reducing hasty reactions, learning to be silent when angry, to smile when there is nothing left to say, and to let the heart rest when the outer world is full of turbulence. When we truly turn inward to adjust our mind and conduct our appearance will naturally change. Our words will change, and our destiny will begin to move in another direction. Brighter, kinder, less burdened within. Kind eyes will draw kind people. A gentle smile will spread good affinities. A clear forehead will open favorable opportunities for both life and spirit. This is how blessings blossom when the heart has changed. How heaven shows favor when a person's heart has softened. How the Buddha's protection appears when it is clear that someone no longer resists life, but begins to live in accord with the law of cause and effect, living slowly enough to see what should be kept and what should be released. When one lives this way, blessings will return without being sought. Peace will arise without being begged for. Loved ones will come into harmony without being held fast. The household will become happier, warmer, and gentler, not with ostentation, but with sufficiency from within. Some spend their whole life searching for blessings in lofty places, while what they truly need is shimmering right within their own eyes, smile and bearing. Day after day, some think that to be blessed by the Buddha, they must chant many sutras, make great offerings, and practice with strict austerity, forgetting that the deepest foundation of a blessed life is a kind inner heart, a patient spirit, and a way of living that does not harm anyone. Blessing does not lie in words of prayer, but in the way one lives. The Buddha is not somewhere above. He is present in each compassionate gaze, each gentle smile, each forehead no longer furrowed. The truly blessed person is not the one who possesses much, but the one who lives with enough. The one protected by the Buddha is not so because they are skilled at asking, but because they live with integrity. Perhaps we have nothing remarkable, yet lack the means to help others, and know little of the scriptures. But if we begin by living decently, keeping our word, loving others quietly, and letting anger go in silence, then bit by bit blessings will gather like drops of water, quietly filling a lake. And when full, they will naturally blossom. That is when people look into your eyes and feel at peace, hear your voice and feel warmed live beside you, and feel their burdens lighten. That is when no many words are needed. A single smile can make others believe in goodness. A single glance can soothe hearts. A single silence can dissolve countless needless things. The Buddha has never chosen anyone for special protection. It is simply that when he sees someone whose inner life is sufficiently still, and whose conduct is sufficiently wholesome, that protection naturally arises like clouds meeting a gentle wind, like seeds falling on good soil and sprouting. When we live like this, not only do blessings arrive, but peace arrives as well. Not only our life becomes calm, those around us inherit that energy too. In the end, the most precious thing does not lie in what the face looks like, but in a heart that has learned to soften amid hardness, to step back amid push and pull, and to keep goodness even when no one knows. A person like this does not need to seek the Buddha. The Buddha has long been present within them. There is no need to look far for blessings. Features change when the heart is kind. Karma dissolves when the mind is at peace. The Buddha taught that if you wish to know a person's past life, look at what they are enduring today. And if you wish to know a person's future life, look at what they are doing each day. Cause and effect are never hasty, but they never overlook anyone. There are people who do not go to temples, do not chant sutras, and do not hold grand ceremonies. yet they live righteously every day, free of anger, never causing others suffering, never using harsh words to wound anyone. Strangely, even though they do not seek blessings, blessings still come. Even though they do not ask to be saved, heaven quietly guides their way. This is because the root of every feature is the mind, and the root of every blessing is conduct. When the mind is bright, even a face once carved by hardship gradually becomes gentle. When the heart is at peace, even a life once full of upheaval grows, as light and trusting, as clouds after rain. When one lives with a wholesome heart, features change over time, and karma dissolves step by step with awakening. This is something practitioners do not need to display or beg for. They simply live well in silence, steady their hearts in silence, and blessings arrive day by day in silence. A person's features are not fixed. They change with the thoughts we nourish within. There are those who once wore a scowling face, a piercing gaze and lines etched by anger and suspicion. Yet, after passing through trials, hearing kind words, and sincerely wishing to live differently, their features gradually soften, their eyes grow gentle, their words become lighter, and even their gait becomes more relaxed. This is not due to makeup or cosmetic work. It is because the mind has changed. When the mind changes, the features must follow, for features are the flower and the mind is the root. A person whose mind is often restless, whose heart is full of worries, quick to anger, and prone to overthinking, does not need to say much. A glance at the eyes, the corners of the mouth, the forehead and chin already reveals the unspoken traces of instability. But when that person learns to be mindful, to pause before reacting, to step back when anger rises, to listen rather than argue, to be silent rather than speak words that harm, then little by little the features change. The brows relax, the forehead brightens, and the eyes become easier to meet. Some transformations do not require a long time, only a resolve that is deep enough and a sincere return to oneself. From there, what is outside also adjusts on its own. In Buddhism, this is called cultivating the self, not by forcing oneself into forms, but by nurturing a quiet inner life. When the inner life is calm, the body is gentle. When the body is gentle, the features change. From expression to posture to the eyes, every small detail is a sign of karma being purified. A kind person does not need to wear anything grand. It is enough to live without scheming, not to make anyone suffer, not to resent life and not to blame others. Then the face naturally becomes pleasant to behold, and the features begin to carry good fortune. This is why some people grow gentler in appearance as the years pass and are more loved by others. They have quietly practiced self-cultivation, and most of all have learned to guard every word and thought each day. Features are not fixed, and karma is not fixed. All is a current of cause and effect, whose source is the mind. If the mind is kind, even if nothing stands out today, the features will flourish in time. If the mind is quiet, even if no change is visible today, life will soften in time. If one perseveres in living well and living in peace, not only will the features change, but destiny will also turn to a lighter, kinder, deeper page in the light of merit. Blessings do not need to be begged for, because they do not come from hurried petitions. They are nourished by the way we live each day. A person with a kind heart and a tranquil mind may make no grand vows and do nothing resounding, yet every step is light, every word is wholesome, and every thought harms no one. From that place, blessings naturally blossom. Blessings do not lie in lavish offerings or far-ringing bells. They lie in how we treat the person next to us, how we keep our heart when things go against our wishes, and how we treat ourselves in disappointment or error. A person at peace is not so because circumstances are calm, but because their interior has grown still. A person with blessings is not so because they begged for much, but because they live without squandering the blessings they already have. Blessings are like clear water. As long as it is not stirred by anger, envy, hatred, or ambition, it remains still and pure. Some people never ask for anything for themselves. They live to ease the suffering of others, to avoid adding to anyone's sadness, to avoid harming anyone. Whether through a glance or a word, they do not seek, and yet blessings arrive, they do not wait, and yet peace returns. This is because these are blessings that arise from the root. They do not depend on what others bestow or on outer conditions. They arise from an inner life that knows how to live in accord with the way, with reason, and with cause and effect. A kind-hearted person easily lets go of what is not worth keeping, easily forgives those who err, and easily extends compassion to themselves. A person with a tranquil mind does not live by reflex, is not wounded for long by others' words, and does not let grievances linger. Wherever such a person goes, they create a gentle field of energy. Whoever is with them feels at peace. They do not try to attract anyone, and need not assert anything, yet people naturally draw near. There is in them a soft light of blessing distilled from years of upright living, lived quietly without complaint. The curious thing is that they do not need to seek blessings because they are the ones generating them. They do not need to ask for good things because the good is already present in the way they live each day. This is why some people feel lighter the longer they live, and the deeper they go into life, the more they feel protected. It is not because the world has grown easier, but because they no longer resist it inside. When the heart is tranquil enough, blessings arrive without being called, like flowers opening in the right season, like a cool breeze, arriving at the right moment, like the morning light that returns without appointment. Those who live virtuously in silence are often the ones who change their fate without fanfare. True blessings do not spring from showing off or proving oneself. They come from the steadfastness of a goodness that needs no witness. These people do not talk much about cause and effect, yet they live with integrity. They do not preach goodness, yet they quietly do what is right. They do not wait for praise, and they do not need recognition. Whenever someone needs help, they are ready to extend a hand. From such small and seemingly anonymous acts, wholesome energy slowly accumulates quietly, pushing back misfortunes that seemed imminent and untangling knots that seemed impossible to undo. Some people want to do something grand, to change their destiny to be loud, so their merit is recorded. But they forget that life is truly turned by small things, by daily attitudes, by very quiet choices. Those who live virtuously in silence do not wait for timing or luck. They take each breath as a support and each wholesome seed as a path. They do not need to react to gossip or explain themselves to baseless misunderstandings. They know that destiny does not change through anger or winning arguments, but through patience, virtue, and perseverance in doing what is right, even when no one sees. For that reason, the more quietly they live, the more they are protected. The less they scheme, the clearer their life becomes. And the less they cling to petty things, the more easily blessings pour in like water running along the right channel of a spring. There are people who spend a lifetime without competing over anything, yet in the end, they have what others struggle to keep and cannot hold for long. There are people who simply walk silently on their own path, without pushing or scrambling, yet they go farther than those who begin with noise and commotion. This is because blessings have ears, karma has eyes, fate has its own laws, and cause and effect always favor those who are quiet and steadfast. Such a person does not need to pray for luck because they themselves are the luck that is growing within a simple and honest life. They do not need to wait for a good season because each day they live as if already in a springtime of goodness. Looking back, they will realize that the very days when no one saw and no one knew were quietly transforming their karma, leading them away from the old path of suffering and onto a new path where promises are unnecessary and light had already begun to shine. In the end, the deepest truth does not lie in what we display outwardly, but in how we live quietly each day. Perhaps today we have not seen blessings return, have not seen features change, have not seen karma dissolve. Yet if we continue to keep an upright heart, live decently, avoid wrongdoing, and cause no harm, then sooner or later the quiet seeds of goodness will bloom. No wholesome effort is ever wasted. No good deed is small in the eyes of cause and effect. Each time we choose not to be angry, we create less karma. Each time we choose patience, we preserve our blessings. Each time we choose to live more slowly, think more deeply, and harm no one, we plant a seed of peace for ourselves. Do not expect to change your features overnight. Do not expect to erase karma with a few prayers. Do not think that blessings must have an obvious form to be real. Sometimes it only takes lightening the heart a little, softening the gaze a little, and making the words a little kinder for blessings to find a place to flow in. Features will gradually change when the mind no longer competes. Old karma will gradually settle when the heart no longer harbors resentment. Destiny will gradually improve when we live virtuously in every small thing, and when we are humble enough not to demand that life repay us at once. When we are patient enough to walk the path of goodness without needing anyone to see, that is when light begins to appear. There is no need to look far for blessings. Simply return to living a thoroughly kind life, and the mind will be at peace. The heart will grow light, and the whole of life will soften like a lotus blooming in a dusty pond. When the lotus has bloomed in the heart, wherever we go, we carry the fragrance of blessings and a deep peace. Someone may ask how to create blessings while poor, ill, or struggling each day to survive. The Buddha taught that giving is not only material giving, but also the giving of the teaching, the giving of fearlessness, and the giving of the heart. This means that a person who has nothing can still give through a kind word, a wholesome thought, or an act of forgiveness without conditions. A person who is ill can still create blessings by refusing to resent life, refusing to blame others, and refusing to add to anyone's suffering. A person who is poor can still create blessings by keeping honesty, living decently, not doing wrong out of hunger, and not abandoning principle because of want. Some have empty hands with nothing to give, yet their hearts are full of love, patience, and peace, and they harm no one. They are creating blessings each day, with each breath, even if no one sees and no one knows. There are people who are gravely ill and physically weak, yet they vow not to be angry or to complain and to live each day with a peaceful mind and wholesome thoughts. They are generating an immense energy of merit. To pass through pain while keeping a kind heart is a very profound virtue. There are people who are so poor they do not have enough to eat, yet they make room for those who suffer more and share their last grains of rice out of compassion. Such blessings cannot be measured in money. They are blessings born from a compassionate heart. In hardship, if we do not sow more suffering, we are already preserving blessings. In illness, if we do not give rise to resentment, we are already dissolving old karma. In poverty, if we do not do what is unwholesome, we are already accumulating new blessings. So long as we keep a kind heart free of greed, anger, resentment, deceit, and the will to harm others, we are planting a seed of blessing. That seed may not bloom today, but it will quietly sprout when conditions are right. Do not wait to have much before doing good. True blessings do not wait for circumstances. Blessings arise from each right choice made in the heart amid adversity. If we keep living this way, keeping the heart undisturbed and the mind untroubled, not only will blessings come, but destiny will gradually turn as well. Some are born with little, grow up lacking, and live with constant worry for daily needs. Yet they still keep something very precious. They do not let poverty take away their character. They do not use their suffering as a reason to hurt others. They do not lie because of hunger or fight because of want. They live slowly and kindly, guarding their decency like a small lamp that still burns in the night. There are those who, though living in cramped homes, eating frugally, and doing hard manual work, still give the best to the elderly and share with those worse off. They know how to respect others, do not complain, and do not resent. Such things may seem ordinary to the wealthy, but for those in poverty, they are quiet yet great virtues. To keep goodness in hardship is already to create blessings. To keep loyalty and love in struggle is already to sow wholesome seeds for the future. Blessings do not come from giving much, but from a heart that does not begrudge what it can give. The truly poor are not those without money, but those who have lost the capacity to love. If we can still care for others and our heart still trembles at someone's pain, then we are not truly poor. If we let poverty make us numb, rigid, and cold, then we are losing not only material things but also the precious good roots in our heart. Therefore, when poor, live even more uprightly. Each time we overcome the temptation of greed and choose to keep goodness in an unjust world, we are preserving our blessings. Perhaps today no one knows what we have endured, what we have borne, what we have sacrificed. Yet heaven knows, earth knows, cause and effect know, and most of all our own heart knows. That heart will be the place where wholesome things are nurtured. Some people are poor their whole lives, yet in the end their children turn out well, their household is harmonious, and they meet benefactors along the way. That is not by chance, but the result of many years of quiet living, doing no harm, quietly doing good, and keeping the way in poverty. Blessings do not need to be great, only steady, not loud, only steadfast. Live like that, and poverty will no longer be frightening. For even with nothing in one's hands, one's heart holds a whole sky of goodness that no one can take away. There are sufferings that do not show themselves as hunger or outward loss, but silently gnaw day by day at a weary body and a worn spirit. Illness not only brings physical pain, it also makes the heart prone to anxiety, resentment, and the abandonment of wholesome thoughts. Yet precisely in such circumstances, if we can keep a heart free of anger and bitterness and refrain from blaming life, blessings are quietly being born in each tired breath. Illness is karma, but how we face illness is a new cause. If we complain about our lot and nourish resentment, then the illness hurts not only the body, but also the heart. If instead we calmly accept it, learning to transform suffering with understanding and love, the illness becomes a special opportunity to return and repair ourselves. There are people who hurt every day, who struggle to move, who eat sparingly, and take constant medicines. Yet they do not let that make their hearts unwholesome. They still greet others with a gentle smile, wait patiently without complaining, and softly advise their children and grandchildren to live rightly. For such people, blessings do not lie in a healthy body, but in steadfastness of heart. And it is precisely that steadfastness without hatred that is the greatest source of blessings, something illness cannot steal. Some carry a grave disease and know they do not have long to live yet. They live as if they had never been afraid. Each day they thank their body, even though it is exhausted. Each day they apologize to themselves for neglecting their soul so long. Each day they turn toward what is wholesome with all that remains. Such a person is practicing even while lying in one place, sowing good seeds even while saying little. Some are not seriously ill yet. Their anger and jealousy remain large. They still bemoan their fate, still flare up over trifles, still live in weariness and discontent. Others are in so much pain they can hardly walk. Yet they gently thank life for giving them the chance to return to the truth, that the body is impermanent, that karma bears fruit, and that every pain is an opportunity to lay down what has been hoarded too long. A sick person who does not make others suffer is creating blessings. A weary person who still thinks of others is growing wholesome karma, and a suffering person who does not add more suffering is loosening the cords of grievances from countless lifetimes. So do not think that when you are ill there is nothing you can do to make things better. As long as the mind no longer hates and the heart no longer resents, as long as we live a little more clearly, a little more gently, blessings arise right then. When blessings are present in every thought, every word, and every breath that endures without hatred, the body may still be ill, but life has changed. The body may be worn, but the heart is bright. That is the door opening to another fate where blessings begin to grow quietly in one who knows how to live kindly, even in the most painful days. In the end, blessings do not lie in the grand things we accomplish, but in how we live each day when no one is watching. We need not be rich, healthy, or full in material things. Any one of us can begin creating blessings from within the very circumstances we are in. To be poor and not resentful is one kind of blessing. To be ill and not angry is one kind of blessing. To lack means and still keep a kind heart is one kind of blessing. To be misunderstood and bear no hatred is one kind of blessing. And to shoulder suffering without letting the heart turn toxic is the deepest kind of blessing. For in the way, blessings do not arise from comfort. They arise from guarding the mind, even when everything becomes hardest to guard. No one can steal true blessings because they do not lie in wealth or status, but in each wholesome thought we choose every day. And then at some point after the days no one understood, and the quiet goodness done without recognition, we will find a comforting truth. None of it was in vain. Heaven does not abandon the kind-hearted. Cause and effect do not forget those who quietly sow what is right. And blessings do not turn away from a heart that still loves the world even while it is suffering. Therefore, even if today you are poor or ill-forgotten or misunderstood, as long as you keep your goodness, blessings are on their way quietly, not quickly but steadily and deeply. This is the upward path of a soul that knows how to live kindly in a turbulent world. It is also the gentlest reply that life sends to those who choose decency even when no one asks it of them. Some people live virtuously in silence their whole lives, doing no wrong, plotting harm against no one, always ready to help within their means, yet they still struggle, still do not see blessings return, still carry pains not yet resolved. Then they ask whether cause and effect are real, whether they have been living rightly, whether blessings have turned away, or the conditions are not yet ripe. But in truth, blessings not yet arrived do not mean blessings do not exist. It only means we are sowing on soil that needs more time to sprout. The cause has been planted, but the fruit cannot be forced to ripen. Everything in this life, fruit on the tree or blessings in the heart, must come at the right time to bloom. Not because we swallow one angry word today will life be gentle tomorrow. Not because we help someone today will everything go smoothly next week. Blessings do not operate by worldly calculations. They operate by the law of quietness and the movements deep within the soul. Sometimes what we do today does not bear fruit for ourselves, but becomes shade for our loved ones. Sometimes the good we sow does not return when we need it, but returns when our heart is already calm, steady, and free of expectation. When the mind still craves and the heart is impatient, blessings have nowhere to enter, just as water cannot pool among jagged stones, and light cannot pass through a mind still clouded with delusion. True blessings only come to places where there is no more demanding, where there is enough calm to receive without seeking to have, without attachment, to live virtuously without needing repayment. The less we crave, the more we have. The less we ask, the more we receive. This is not a paradox, but a truth, one only those who live quietly can understand. People who live quietly without seeking do not ask anything of life, yet life gives them the most beautiful things. Not because they are clever, but because they have quietly sown what is right without needing witnesses. Not because they are luckier, but because their hearts are lighter, their minds gentler, their lives more at peace. In that truth, those who ask less receive greater blessing than those who keep chasing and pleading. Blessings do not arrive when the heart is still craving, because craving itself disturbs the mind and makes the seeds we sow harder to sprout. The more we crave, the more chaotic we become. The longer we wait, the more we miss. Those who crave often live in unrest, lacking faith in the causes they are planting, lacking patience to receive the fruit in its proper time. They plant a wholesome seed today, and then stare at the ground, worrying why the sprout has not appeared, why the fruit has not come, why the blessing has not arrived. They do not realize that by fixating on results and forgetting to abide in the goodness of the act itself, the heart grows unstable. Old karma remains unsettled and blessings find it hard to flow in. The more we crave, the tighter the heart becomes. And when the heart is cramped, blessings have no room to enter. Some people do one good deed and then retell it endlessly, as if afraid cause and effect might forget. But the moral law has never forgotten anyone. The law of cause and effect has never overlooked anyone. It is just that when we crave too much, craving wrongly and hastily, we are demanding fruit by the ego's terms, rather than trusting the natural movement of merit. Those who live virtuously without asking for anything are the ones who keep the strongest inner power. They do not do good to be repaid, do not give in order to become rich, do not forbear to earn praise. They do good because it is right. They let go because they understand that clinging only causes pain. They are patient not from fear but from seeing clearly that anger only entangles life further. Such people live like the earth, steady and embracing, like a river quiet and deep, like sunlight never hurried yet always on time. And because they live this way, blessings slowly gather like dew on a sprout at dawn, like sunlight piercing the clouds. After a long stormy day, when the heart no longer longs for anything, good things naturally come. There is no need to scheme, for blessings do not like noisy places. No need to worry, for the wholesome always returns at the right moment. No need to rush, for heaven has never arrived late to those who have lived kindly and deeply enough. The more quietly we live, the more blessings accumulate. True blessings do not need announcement, display, or recognition. They come from things unseen, from what we do when no one is watching, from patience kept in silence, from loving others without expecting anything in return. Some people live a very quiet life, no grand statements, no flamboyant deeds, never appearing under bright lights. Yet wherever they go, they leave a sense of peace, make those beside them feel at ease, inspire others to live more kindly. That is the sign of a person with great blessings who does not speak of them, does not claim credit, does not keep score. Their blessings do not show in outward appearance, but shine in their eyes, in their calm, in how they respond to life. Not rushed, not argumentative, not hateful, not harmful. They simply live and keep their heart from being warped by gossip and one-upmanship. Such people speak lightly and step gently, because each day they have quietly lived well, quietly let go, quietly dissolved what could have turned dark, by choosing to yield, to forbear to love. The quieter the life, the more densely blessings gather like water in a deep well, the stiller, the clearer. The quieter the person, the brighter the heart. The brighter the heart, the more blessings converge. Blessings do not arise from outer glitter, but from an inner life no longer swept away by the winds of the world. Blessings gather in those who dislike showing off, because they do not need attention to live virtuously. They only need to know they are on the right path, living in peace, keeping their heart clean in every circumstance. Thus they accumulate the most durable kind of blessing, the kind no one can steal, no situation can diminish, no time can erase. It is the blessing deep as roots gripping the earth, not dazzling to the eye, but the very thing that nourishes the whole tree. Likewise, those with truly great blessings are usually very humble, speak little about themselves, and move gently through life. Look closely, and you will see a quiet light radiating from them, not blinding or noisy, but the kind that makes you want to draw near to learn to become kinder, calmer, and better as they are. In the end, we discover that the most precious thing is not how much we possess, but how much peace we keep when our hands are empty. Blessings do not come because we long for them, but because our heart is kind enough to invite them. No need for lavish offerings or urgent prayers. Only live rightly a little more each day, swallow one. Angry retort, forego one. Contest of pride, step past one. Moment of envy and blessings quietly crystallize in each thought, each glance, each way we show up in this life. Rushing out to find blessings outside ourselves can leave us lost forever. Turn back and sit with yourself. Look over the days you have lived and gently ask, have I truly been kind? Have I truly lived virtuously? Am I calm enough for blessings to come to rest? When the heart's answer is a steady nod, that is when blessings begin to fall like timely rain, like sunlight arriving exactly when the good that waited behind a gentle letting go finally has room to enter. Then we understand some blessings do not come quickly, but they come fully. Some lights do not shine fast, but they shine very deep. Some forms of protection need no outward sign yet. Are present in every moment we keep a kind heart. In a turbulent world, at that point, we are already complete without anyone knowing. We do not need to have much to feel at peace. We no longer need to ask, because blessings have already bloomed quietly in each step we take, and in every silent choice we make. There are times in life we cannot understand why money slips away as soon as it arrives, why no matter how much we earn, it is gone. No matter how much we save, it dissolves. Today we feel a surplus, tomorrow a shortfall. Just when things seem to improve, an unexpected event carries it all off. Someone asks, does heaven hate me, or am I fated to be poor? But if we look deeply, we will see it is not that wealth does not come, but that it does not stay. It is not that life withholds, but that we do not know how to keep it. And the greatest loss is not in the wallet, but in a heart lacking merit. If wealth is not upheld by true merit, it is only like a breeze passing over a meadow. You hear it, but it cannot linger. Therefore, the issue is not how to get money, but how to live so that when money arrives, it feels safe enough to remain, so it is not swept away by old karma, not dissipated by wrong habits, not slipping through our fingers by things we think are harmless. To do this is not lofty at all. It rests on something very simple, knowing how to live so as to preserve merit. Merit is the root, money is the fruit. When fruit comes, but the root is weak, it will fall sooner or later. Merit is like the field. Money is like the rain. If there is rain without a field, the water just runs off. If there is a field, but we do not know how to tend the soil, even when rain arrives, it will not stay long. So a wise person not only seeks to be rich, but also seeks to preserve merit. Not only knows how to earn money, but also how to spend it. So money becomes wholesome affinity. Not only focuses on gain, but also knows when to step back so as not to lose what is more precious than money, peace, ethics, character, and self-respect. This Dharma talk will not help you win the lottery, nor promise to fill your account overnight. But if you have enough heart to listen and enough affinity to reflect, then from today you may learn to live so that wealth comes and does not go, so that having does not mean losing, and most important of all, to be wealthy, without harming virtue, to have enough, without trading away yourself. If we see wealth only as cash flow, in and out, we will forever wrestle with formulas. But if we look with the eye of cause and effect, we will see that wealth is the outward expression of an inner energy called merit. Those with merit do not worry excessively. They have enough to eat and wear, receive help at the right times, and pass through hardships more lightly. Those lacking merit, however, talented, diligent, even daring, find that money once in hand slips away like sand through the fingers. So if we wish to keep wealth, do not focus only on how to earn more. Look back and see whether we are unintentionally living in ways that diminish merit. There are small things that become large leaks in the vessel of merit. How we spend, how we speak about others, how we treat the vulnerable, how we keep our word, and what we use our resources for. Each is a choice to thicken merit or to wear it thin. Some think keeping money means never spending a penny, not realizing that stinginess itself closes the flow of prosperity. Merit does not come to those who hoard in fear. It comes to those whose hearts are wide, who share before they have surplus, who help others even while they themselves still lack. Why? Because that is when merit is sown deepest. A seed that falls on barren ground and still sprouts, that is a strong seed. Heaven never overlooks such people. Others think that making huge offerings and doing grand acts of charity will bring money quickly, but they forget that merit is measured not by the scale of the act, but by the sincerity of the heart. A handful of rice given with all one's heart is more precious than a million given with calculation. Merit is the subtle vibration of a meditative heart, not the material value of the gift. Some live quietly known by few, yet heaven favors them, and things go smoothly for them. That is because they live by merit, without the need to display it. Keeping wealth cannot be separated from how we regard others. If we often compare envy, or speak words that wound the successful, we unwittingly block the current of merit to ourselves. The envious mind is an invisible wall that not only obstructs others' fortune, but also pushes our own fortune away. Conversely, when we rejoice in others' wealth and are glad for their success, their merit is already falling softly into our own portion. Prosperity has a living quality. It does not linger where negative energy prevails, just as fragrance cannot spread in a room full of smoke. If we want wealth to stay, we must create a wholesome space for it. That space is the moral atmosphere of someone who lives by principle. A person who keeps their word is humble, loyal, and speaks what is wholesome. Where such a person stands, prosperity naturally gathers. Uninvited it arrives, unbidden it remains. Not everyone is poor because they lack talent, and not everyone loses money because of bad luck. Often wealth drains away because we do not know how to keep it rightly. Habits that seem harmless open wide cracks, through which merit leaks careless words that hurt others, contempt toward the poor, a harsh gaze toward the unsuccessful, the daily habit of complaint that darkens the heart. These things may not be visible at once, but they quietly erode the field of merit. Some dress well, speak smoothly, and surpass others in skill, yet their hearts habitually think ill of people, always suspecting, always belittling, so prosperity rarely gathers. Heaven does not choose a restless place to send its gifts. Merit does not come to those who only stockpile for themselves without sharing. If wealth is not used at the right time in the right place for the right people, it is like a fistful of sand. The tighter we grip, the more we lose. One who knows how to preserve merit lives more slowly with every act and choice. They know to stop when anger rises. They know not to argue right and wrong when it is unnecessary. They return extra change someone gave by mistake. They accept a small loss to keep a relationship intact. No one can tally such things, and no one will sing their praises, but heaven keeps account. And when merit grows thick, wealth comes not as crashing waves, but as gentle midday light, unshowy, quiet and enduring, very enduring. Someone once asked why certain people never make offerings, do not go to temples, and hold no great rituals, yet still live comfortably with abundance and the respect of others. It is because they are offering with their very life in the way they speak gently to those below them, keep their word in business, help without needing gratitude, and live decently in circumstances unseen by anyone. This is the highest kind of offering through virtuous conduct and sincere heart. Heaven never ignores such people. If we want wealth to come and not go, then after we have it, we must live, so that fortune wants to stay. If resources are used for boasting domination or division, they will soon recede, like waters after a flood. But if resources are used to warm the hearts of the suffering, to rebuild a collapsing home, to buy a book for a poor child, to help a single mother with no one beside her, then that wealth is not lost. It transforms into merit, into wholesome affinity, into a light that spreads quietly. Keeping wealth does not mean keeping it for ourselves. It means knowing how to make it useful to others. Only then does it avoid being squandered. Like a flame, the more people it lights, the larger the light becomes. If we only clutch it to our chest, a single gust can extinguish it. So it is with merit. The more we share, the more we keep. The more we are selfish, the more it wanes. The more wisely we use it, the more it multiplies. Because they themselves are a lesson in cause and effect. Blessings are not something distant. They are present in every look we give another person, in the way we choose, between our own benefit and another's well-being, in each timely pause, without competing or grasping. Blessings need no banners and no witnesses. They only need a heart bright enough, and heaven will naturally return what is deserved. In the end, everyone comes to a season of looking back. What have I done with the money I had? What have I done with the blessings heaven gave? And am I living worthy of what I hold in my hands? No one stays rich forever, and no one stays poor forever. Those who know how to preserve merit do not boast when wealthy, and do not resent when poor. Those who do not know how to preserve merit feel uneasy even in wealth, and in poverty suffer all the more. Fortune is a current. It comes and will go if we do not know how to keep it rightly. Keeping it is not in a safe, not in deeds to property, not even in investments. Keeping lies in the heart. Where the heart lives by principle, money arrives and can live. Where the heart lives for others, fortune wants to stay. Where the heart is at peace, resources can generate peace. Some spend a lifetime searching for ways to get rich, yet never learn how to live in a way worthy of that wealth. Others do not seek it at all, yet richness comes because the way they live is an invitation to prosperity. Not everyone who has money has merit, but those with merit will sooner or later have enough. Money can come from intelligence, diligence, and opportunity, but only merit can keep it near for long, steadily, and safe from being swept away by sudden calamity. Therefore, after all, the question is not how to gain more, but how to let what comes remain. Do not keep by clinging. Do not keep by fear of loss. Keep by living true to the human way. Be grateful for what you have. Share when someone is in need. Be humble when life lifts you up. Be silent when winning an argument no longer helps. Live decently and quiet, not for praise, but because your heart will not allow you to live otherwise. Blessings are not far away. They lie in the small choices of each day, choosing forgiveness over hatred, giving over taking integrity, over saving face, a step back over one more cutting word. No one forces us to do these things, but if we do, fortune arrives without being begged, money returns without being asked, and without trying to hold it, blessing remains beside us, like a silent friend. Then rich or poor is no longer a worry. Having money or not will not cost us sleep, because we have understood that the most precious thing is not how many assets we hold, but how we have lived so that each day passes without harming our store of merit. Every word, every action, every relationship is a shard of mirror, reflecting the heart we are keeping within. If that heart is kind, blessings are whole. If that heart is spacious, fortune opens. If that heart feels enough, life feels enough. And one day, looking back, we will see there is nothing more to seek, because everything needed already exists in a way of living with right conduct, full heart, and sufficient merit. Then fortune arrives kindly and stays kindly. If it goes, it is only to return at the right time, like a friend who understands us, and there is no more fear of loss. For those who truly have merit need not keep anything at all, because life itself keeps it for them.